Chapter 26. Some R&R. Zero, Iris, and Elliot, though beat and banged up, returned triumphantly to the Maverick Hunter headquarters. It was met by worried and relieved Cygnus. With a smile, Cygnus approached the trio, a look of hope and curiosity on his face. "We did it, big boss," Iris said cheerfully. "You could fill me in later. For now, though, report to Hydro and get yourselves fixed up and grab a little rest. You've all earned it," Cygnus said, smiling at Iris' enthusiasm. The trio nodded and left the command chamber and made their way to the medical bay. With a sigh, Cygnus returned to his desk and pulled out a file sent to him from a lifesaver who had been ordered back to High Command shortly after X's death, a look of concern on his face. It was very troubling news, but for now, after what his hunters had been through, he didn't want to send them right back out to the field. They had earned a couple of days of rest. Maverick Hunter Headquarters, Medical Bay. As Hydra went between the three rooms, she couldn't help but feel relieved that the trio returned to them in the shape they had. After what had happened to X and Axel, and see what had done an emotional level to Alien Violet, she didn't think she herself could bear witnessing another of her friends dying or being badly damaged. As she entered Zero's room, she noticed Zero looked uneasy. "What's bothering you?" the medical chief asked. "Nothing really. I just wish Shadow had come back with us. He was badly damaged helping us take out the remaining H hunters. I don't like the guy, but at the same time he did fight the good fight, and he expects us to do in a couple of days," Zero replied. Hydra pulled up her chair and set her chart aside. "Well, Zero, not everyone wants to be saved. Sometimes we have to accept that fact and move on," Hydra said. She knew it was more than an injury of a Ripple he didn't seem too fond of that was bothering him. Hydra had heard what had happened with X at the end and knew that it was still eating away at Zero. After all, X was in all ways when an official capacity about to Zero. Zero looked over at the medical chief. "Twice now I've had to kill personally the two people closest to me simply because I couldn't save them from themselves. Sure, I got Iris back, and that makes me happier than I've been since the April 1st incident. But to lose X too soon to get her back," Zero said, knowing Hydra had caught on. "Look, Zero, I can't even begin to pretend to understand how it feels. Hell, I am not even a combat unit in the slightest, but as a doctor I can say this. The wound of losing X I know must be deep. But you said yourself, you got Iris back, and that makes you happy. Let her help heal this wound. It will leave a scar, yes, but she can help the healing process if you let her. Besides, do you really think this is what X would want? You beating yourself up every day when you have so much more to live for now?" Hydra asked. Zero glared over the girl with an intent, almost murder stare, but after a moment softened and he let out a sigh. "You're right, X wouldn't want this. Am I clear?" Zero asked. Hydra stood up and looked Zero over. "Yep, you have a clean bill of health. All three of you do," Hydra explained with a grin. With that, Zero hopped up and exited the room. Hydra sat back down, a small smile on her face. She had treated many of the hunters and other personnel that had come through, but she really never connected to any of them on a level outside of patient and doctor with them, with the exception of Cygnus, X, Zero, and Alia. Even Iris, X, and Violet she found herself more connected to, despite the fact they were still relatively new. It was a friendship she wouldn't trade with the world, and once again she found herself realizing why lifesavers loved working with the Maverick Hunters when he got the chance to get an assignment here from High Command. As Zero stepped to the main waiting area, he found Iris and Alia no longer in the ultimate armor, back in her basic armor already waiting for them. "Well, what now? The H-Hunters are gone, and we still have a couple of days before Zero's due with Shadow," Iris asked. "How about we go see Axel and Violet? They must be worried about us. We haven't talked to them since poor Axel got hurt," Alia suggested. "That's a good idea," Zero said simply. With the three in agreement, the trio made their way to Axel's room. Upon entering, they noticed Axel was still out of it, but looking a lot better, and right by his side, also asleep with her head in Axel's arm and his hand in hers, was Violet. "Aw, isn't that cute?" Zero teased loudly. Violet began to stare at the sound of Zero's voice, and immediately became embarrassed when she noticed how the three had caught her. She quickly sat up and let go of Axel's hand. "Hey, great guys, great to see you back in one piece," Violet said, trying to avoid what they had seen. Zero nodded and walked over to his sister, standing over Axel. "How is he?" the red hair asked. He's doing a lot better. He can be up and about now, but he still isn't 100%, Violet replied. At that moment, Axel's eyes slowly started to open. It took them a moment to adjust, but he smiled when he saw Zero, Alien, and Iris. "Hey guys," he exclaimed happily. "Glad to see you feeling better," Elliot said. "Great to be feeling better," the young rookie said, sitting up. He slid himself out of the bed and got to his feet like he wasn't injured at all. "Think you feel like walking?" Violet, still obviously deeply concerned for her partner. Axel nodded and even did some stretches. That's when the door opened behind them and Hydro stepped in. Figured this is what a lot of you would go first. I've cleared Axel to move about the headquarters, but still no combat action for him yet. He still has a few repairs to undergo, Hydro stated. Awesome. It would be nice to get out of this stuffy room for a little while, Axel said happily with a fist pump. Well, why don't we take this opportunity to go on debrief sickness and catch up a little? Things have been so hectic around here, we haven't had a chance for all of us to be together since you got hurt, Iris offered. That's a great idea, Violet said. I will join you guys. I need to report some medical things to the commander anyway, Hydro said. With that, the group left the small, getting crowded room and into the bigger, more wide open space at the headquarters. The group walked and chatted about various things, how Axel was feeling, how Violet was holding up, watching after her partner so intently, and about Zero, Iris, and Alice's battle against the last 2 hunters. As the group made their way into the command chamber, Xavier decided to blink to make sure he wasn't seeing things. Other than the obvious fact Axel wasn't with him, he hadn't seen the group together like this in a long time, much less smiling and happy. After they debriefed the commander and Hydro handed over some reports, Cygnus ordered a day of R&R for the crew, still withholding the information he was looking over sent by HQ High Command. Zero decided to take Hydro's advice to heart and took off with Iris to be alone with her. Axel and Violet left with Hydro, which left Ailey by herself. Cygnus looked back to Ailey, feeling a bit of pity for the hunter's spotter. Ailey gave Cygnus a sad smile and left the command chamber. She wandered around aimlessly for a time before taking an elevator and going up to X's favorite balcony. The sun was starting to set and her mind and broken heart focused on X. She found herself reminiscing about when she had first joined the Maverick Hunters. Ailey's first day. She was fresh out the academy, bright-eyed and excited to become a spotter for the Maverick Hunters. Ailey had only been inside the hunter base a couple of times during her time at the academy. It was only for brief periods limited to only a couple of small sections for academic work. Now, though, she was an actual Maverick Hunter and this was her new home. The young spotter was in the main hall, feeling lost as many reploids hustled and bustled about. It was a lot louder than she thought it would be. Her first directive was to report directly to Commander Cygnus to receive further orders from there. Nervously, she made her way to the center of the Grand Hall, looking for a map or anything that could point her in the right direction. It was so busy that she had to fight to keep from bumping into anyone. Despite scoring top marks on her hunter entrance exam and being regarded as a genius on many levels at the academy, none of that was befailing her now. As she moved about, she lost her focus, thinking back to her friend Gate to try to calm her nerves. Said he had left like he had, wondering if she could have done more to convince him to stay. Ailey was suddenly distracted from her thoughts when she bumped into someone knocking her to the ground. It was a very large replica with forest green armor and had the features of a boar. The replica grunted at her annoyance and walked over to her, towering over her. Well, what do we have here? A pretty new rookie, he said, licking his lips obviously. Ailey became even more nervous, not liking the look the boar was giving her. The boar reached down, grabbing her by the arm, causing the latter to cry of pain, as others stopped to watch the commotion going on, no one willing to step in and help her. You are very pretty. Don't get too witty, like you around here. And seeing as how you bumped into me like that, I think you owe me an apology, the boar stated. Ailey started to shiver in the crowds of the replica, which seemed to make him tighten it more. The young spot was surprised, though, when she heard her voice ring out. That's enough, stone husk boar. Let her go, the voice called out. The reploid's eyes went wide, meaning he recognized the voice. The crowd people parted ways as Stone Husk boar, as he had been called, suddenly let her go. 2 reploids approached. One was wearing blue combat armor and was a little taller than her. His helmet was basic with the exception of the red jewel in the center of it. Beside him was a red reploid, even taller than the blue one. The red reploid had a spiked helmet and long flowing blonde hair. The duo approached and glared at Boar. Sorry, sirs, I was just having the little lady out, he said sheepishly. Somehow I seriously doubt that, the red reploid said. The blue reploid walked over to her and offered his hand. She accepted it, feeling a warmth and kindness from it. It was gentle but also firm, and he led her away from Boar. Listen to me, Boar. I have told you time and again to knock this attitude off. If it happens again, I choose to command a sickness for an insubordination really won't be the end result, the red reploid said firmly. Ayla could hear the Boar swallow nervously. Yes, sir, was all he could manage to get out. Then dismissed, the blue one said. Stone Husk boar took the hand and quickly took off as the blonde-haired reploid looked over the crowd. All right, nothing more to see here. Move along, he ordered. With slight whispers, the crowd dispersed. Looks like you made quite an impression, the blue one regarded her. I am so sorry for that. I was looking for something to tell me where to find Commander Signal's office, and I got distracted by other thoughts, and I didn't watch where I was going. They stammered out, trying to calm herself. The blue one smiled gently at her, which made her blush slightly for some reason. The red reveler returns attention to a duel. We should probably get moving. Not every day we actually have a chance at a day off, he commented. The blue one simply nodded. Alright, go on ahead. I am going to show the rookie where Signal's offices, he said. Alright. I'll see you later, buddy, the red one said, taking off. Just follow me, the kind red reveler said again and started moving. Ayla had to walk a little faster than she would have liked to keep up with her savior, but she didn't mind. After all, he had already done for her in only the first few minutes of the meeting. He turned to look back to make sure she was keeping stride. By the way, I didn't quite catch your name, he said. I'm Ayla, sir. I'm a new spotter from the Maverick Hunters, she replied. Nice, we've needed a new spotter for a while now. Pleased to meet you, Ayla. I am Beckham X, he said in turn. This really did cause Ayla to stop dead in her tracks. X noticed and stopped as well. Typically, introducing himself didn't have that kind of effect, and if he didn't know any better, he would swear she was about to faint. You're Commander X, he said with a gulp. Indeed I am, he said with a simple smile, almost like his name meant nothing. In the end, though, who hadn't heard tales of the exploits of Mega Man X and his partner and best friend Zero? Then it dawned on her even further, the red rebel he had been with. Then the other rebel you were with, that was Zero? She questioned to make sure her intuition was correct. X nodded, moving closer in case the poor girl did actually faint. Yep, that was Zero, right? He answered. She cursed herself in her mind. The first few minutes of her arrival, she had made herself look like a total fool in front of not just the entire base, but her unit commanders and the legendary war heroes X and Zero. Elliot rubbed her temples, trying to relax herself. It's gonna be a long, long day, she said, obviously distraught. Present day. Even back then, X had looked out for her, and she could never repay the kindness he had always shown her. Even after she became familiar with them, even friends with Cygnus, X, and Zero. The memories at least helped her pull herself out of her funk, but she still missed the blue barman in a way she could never explain. His being gone left a hole inside of her, one that would never heal. You may be gone, my love, but you will never be forgotten, Liz in a whisper, letting only the wind hear her carry her words. She then opened a compartment on the left side of her chest armor and pulled out a picture. It was the picture she originally had sitting on her desk. Her secret picture, as she called it, since no one but her knew she had it. After the two had become an official couple, Ayla took it out of his picture frame and turned it so she could carry it in that specific compartment so she could, as she convinced herself, always keep him near to her heart. Ayla sat down in X's favorite spot, clutching the picture, just letting her mind drift on the multitude of memories she had of him. Well, here we are, Chapter 6, a lot quicker like promised. This one I know is long and doesn't advance the story much, but this particular chapter, for some reason, I have wanted to tell for a while now, and finally found a good spot in the story to do so. Anyway, as always, R&R, no matter what you have to say, good, bad, or flaming, all of it helps. Till next time, my peeps.